Well, so far we destroyed us MGTOWs destroyed the fact that MGTOWs is not conservatives nor far right leaning, especially when the far right conservatives don't like MGTOW, and the haters are throwing tantrums. Then then I came back destroying the fact that MGTOWs are not white supremacists or neo Nazis, and the haters spent all day crying and bitching about it. Well, in the words of my pops growing up, if you want to cry over shit, I'll give you something to cry about. And we about to do just that because if they think they're whining, crying, kicking and screaming, we ain't done yet because we about to destroy yet another claim against MGTOW. Again, no introduction here. Y'all see the title. If MGTOWs are terrorists and extremists, then how come there is no evidence or any act or any type of attacks and whatnot that were committed by MGTOWs? I mean, that don't make sense. And before I go any further, shout out to my fellow MGTOW True Sherm for bringing this to the forefront, in which I do agree. If your definition of terrorism doesn't fit the FBI's definition of terrorism, then maybe you shouldn't be calling people terrorists. Seriously, don't let people call you this unless you have a course to sue them. And if you don't, you should cut all communications with that person or persons. Like I said, you might be dealing with a Fed. Not sure if it's wise for feds to be mindlessly labeling people as terrorists, but I would want your security clearance immediately. If you if you're if you ever label me and you have no evidence or the definition don't meet what I am. Yes, federal agents could face a lot of responsibility. I understand your job is difficult and it can't be easy, but not everyone you label fits the definition. Agreed. So, what is terrorism? Protecting the United States from terrorist attacks is the FBI's number one priority. The Bureau works closely with its partners to neutralize terrorist cells and operatives here in the United States to help dismantle extremist networks worldwide and to cut off financing and other forms of support providing from foreign terrorist organizations. Terrorism definitions. International terrorism, violent criminal acts committed by individuals or groups who are inspired by or associated with designed foreign terrorist organizations or nations, state sponsored. Domestic terrorism, violent criminal acts committed by individuals and or groups to further ideological goals stemming from domestic influences such as those of a political, religious, social, racial, or environmental nature. Okay. Now, to all these retarded fucks, and yes, we're calling out the ADL, the Southern Poverty Law Center, Wikipedia, these biased news outlets, and the retarded fuck ass haters on this matter. If MGTOWs are terrorists and extremists, how come there are no violent acts being pulled off by anyone in the MGTOW philosophy? I mean, they might as well say that this is their favorite buzzword here because they keep making this claim, but they show no proof or evidence. We haven't seen a single MGTOW going around blowing things up or placing bombs in places. Not a single MGTOW is going on mass shootings. And before you haters start bitching, shut the fuck up forever, because throwing out these random, claiming that these random mass shootings are committed by men who are MGTOW with no evidence. You have no argument here. What kind of violent and criminal acts has MGTOW committed? Besides what people is just straight whining and crying about. Not once. None. None of that ever happened. In fact, I'll go on to say, since when MGTOW, or shall I say, since when men walking away, being by themselves to better themselves and be a best version of themselves is somehow terrorism? That don't make no sense to me. That don't make no sense to any MGTOW or non-MGTOW whatsoever. This is the reason why these retarded fucks making this claim is struggling to prove their points. Even Homeland Security and Secret Services had no proof or evidence in which they completely withdrawn from this claim. And speak of the FBI, yeah, I know the FBI is watching us. And to be honest, I hope the FBI is watching this, because at this point, the term terrorism and extremism is being thrown around a bit way too loosely. And rather, they just claiming this side's a terrorist, that side's a terrorist, without no single evidence to back it up. I have yet to see any man committing criminal and violent acts who calls himself a MGTOW pulling this shit off. None. Not a single shred of evidence. In all the evidence we do see, they have no ties to any place in the MGTOW philosophy. These men ain't saying that they're MGTOW. They're not writing it in their manifestos that they're MGTOW or any other paperwork. As far as us MGTOWs see it, all we see is just people just throwing the MGTOW acronym on random men just to fit a narrative or to push propaganda. So how are MGTOWs terrorists? How are MGTOWs extremists if MGTOWs ain't committing any criminal or violent acts? Can the haters explain this to us? Can the feminists explain this to us? Can the FBI, Homeland Security, Secret Service, can they answer that question? Can these biased news outlets answer the question? How about the ADL, the Southern Poverty Law Center, or Wikipedia answer this question? Because these are the ones who's labeling MGTOWs as terrorists and extremists with no evidence or proof to back up their claims. And again, the gauntlet has been thrown, and us MGTOWs is issuing all these retarded fucks a challenge. Come on, they're the ones making these claims. Now, can they back it up? Will they back it up? or will they cower? Come on, this is their opportunity here. Because as far as it goes, they have no proof, they have no evidence or any tie or anything that ties MGTOW to terrorism and extremism. And to be honest, if and to be honest, it seems like this is just another buzzword anyone who's in opposition of MGTOW just loves to throw around. Moreover, this ain't shit but a fear-mongering tactic. Which is quite ironic too, because you have all these retarded fucks that don't like MGTOW claiming that MGTOW is fascist. But last time I checked, Adolf Hitler used fear-mongering tactics to not only control his own people of Nazi Germany, but other people in neighboring countries as well. And he ain't the only one. Communist Joseph Stalin of Russia also used fear-mongering tactics to control his people. And it still goes on today. Look at Kim Jong-un, North Korea's dictator. Ain't he's using fear-mongering tactics to control his people? As well as to intimidate other countries such as Japan? I think so, right? And this is no different here. Most of these retarded fucks claiming MGTOWs as terrorists and extremist is using this as a fear-mongering tactic. Basically, they're only doing this shit to incite fear. To incite fear. In a desperate attempt to force people to go against the MGTOW philosophy, which makes no sense. How many think about it? How does men who decide to walk away? I'm asking this question again. Since when has men walking away be by themselves, bettering themselves, be the best versions of themselves is somehow a terroristic threat? Make that make sense to me. And while the opposition is trying to use fear-mongering tactics to incite fear, is beyond me. But as I recall, isn't fear a gateway to hate? But MGTOW's a hate group too. But yet fear is the gateway to hate. And what was that thing Master Yoda from Star Wars said about fear?
Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Quality tools.
Hold on a second.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Oh, that's right. Fear is the path of the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. So this is their whole entire plan. They're using fear as a weapon. They claim that Mgtows are terrorists, Mgtows are extremists. The only problem is it's not working because of the fact that Mgtows ain't committing any violent and criminal acts. None of it to be even labeled as a terrorist or extremist. But you got these retards sitting here trying to push that narrative and trying to push propaganda. And unless they have substantial evidence to back it up, I advise they all need to have several seats and shut the fuck up forever. And I said what I had to say on the matter. I'm done and I'm out this bitch. Later.